sunny, a high tomorrow of 87 to 91. Saturday, sunny skies. We'll see a high of 96 to 100 for Saturday. I'm AccuWeather's Drew Shannon on KFBK, Sacramento's News Radio.
Yeah, slightly warmer. We've got in Sacramento 102, Elk Grove 101, Roseville has 103. And we start with your top national story. Law enforcement officials say threats have been made relating to the indictment of former President Donald Trump. ABC News national correspondent Stephen Portnoy has the latest.
It's the law in Georgia that grand jurors' identities are public record. When the Trump indictment was posted, their names were too. Fulton County Sheriff's Office says it's aware that jurors' information's been circulating online, and the agency says it's working to track down the origins of threats. The FBI says it's looking into threats of violence against county officials.
Several Trump allies on Capitol Hill are now supporting bills to strip federal funding from special counsel Jack Smith, including from Smith's paycheck. Democrats are blasting the plan, saying they're doomed to fail and they're nakedly partisan. Your top local story now.
California Wildfire Watch. KFBK News Radio continuing coverage.
Mineral growth on the highway fire, which continues to burn about 30 acres in Nevada County and is now 5% contained. Firefighters are focusing on reinforcing the perimeter control and building contingency lines today. Evacuation orders and warnings are still in place for the town of Washington and the River Run Resort. Other areas included in the order are Washington Overlook, Alpha Diggins, and South Hill. Evacuation warnings are also up to the northeast. Madeline Helling Library is a temporary evacuation point. River Rest Resort and Littletown Campground, evacuees from the town of Washington, are being allowed into the evacuation area with a law enforcement escort to retrieve and remove the RVs. Checking in at the command post on Washington Road is required. More news now with KFBK's Joe Michaels.
Kitty, the death toll from last week's wildfires on the Hawaiian island of Maui has reached 111 and is expected to go even higher. But among the tragedy, incredible acts of heroism are emerging. When disaster struck, a mother-daughter duo determined the only way out of the fire's path was to get out of their car and climb over a nearby swell into the ocean water. But the older woman had trouble walking. They ran into a complete stranger who carried the mother on his back into the ocean water. Benny Reinecke telling ABC News he stayed with the woman and her daughter in the water for more than 8 hours as the fires raged. He says they were the worst hours of his life.
Your hair kind of catches on fire. You have to occasionally put water on yourself to not have the embers burn your skin. There's waves. We're in the ocean. The waves are knocking us over into the boulders of the rocks. We're trying to hold on. Some people are floating away. I'm having to go grab them and put it back where we were. It was just a true nightmare.
While some may call him a hero, Reinecke says there was no way he was going to walk away from the women and that he just did what anybody would do. ABC's Alex Stone joining us from Maui at 4:17 with the latest on the continuing aftermath of the deadly Hawaiian wildfires. On the mainland, the California town of Paradise is installing new siren towers which will alert residents of wildfires in the future. KFBK's Nika Magaha has the details.
After years of rebuilding, Paradise Mayor Greg Rowland asked residents what it would take for them to come back.
Number one on that list was a warning system. Old school, because old school works no matter what.
The sirens will be activated in the event of a wildfire, flood, extreme weather event, or other life-threatening emergency. They'll emit a minute-long high-low tone, followed by evacuation instructions. This comes as the 5-year anniversary of the Camp Fire approaches this November. At least 85 people were killed, and nearly 19,000 buildings were destroyed in the blaze. Nika Magaha, KPK, Sacramento News Radio.
A bill regarding sex trafficking in California remains on hold at the state capitol. State Senator Shannon Grover
approaching a railroad crossing.
Her bill was moved to the Assembly Appropriations suspense file this week. The bill would include sex trafficking of minors in the list of crimes that are eligible for a strike under the state's 3 strikes law. The suspense file is a committee procedure where a bill with a fiscal impact of more than $150,000 is held by the committee chair while cost considerations are made. In Southern California, several law enforcement agencies, including the LAPD, today announcing the creation of a joint retail theft task force. The decision to create the force coming after several high-profile flash mob-style robberies that have been reported across the LA area, including one last weekend at Nordstrom's in East LA, where more than $300,000 in luxury items were stolen. LA focus on the arrest and prosecution of the robbers themselves, but others involved in these major crime schemes.
We're not only focused on the individuals who are walking into these stores and committing the crimes that we see on video, but if you are supporting them logistically, either by being a driver, harboring them, buying merchandise, selling merchandise, you're in this chain.
Governor Gavin Newsom today directing the CHP
approaching a railroad crossing
in Los Angeles to help the city crack down on organized retail crime. That is the subject of the KFBK Afternoon News poll question today. Kitty O'Neill is going to tell you all about it in moments.
Yep, in fact, I'll do that right now, Joe. Well, actually, I will do it in a moment. I'll tell you about this first. There are renewed talks between the Writers Guild of America and the Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers. No end in sight, though, for the walkout. CBS News correspondent Allison Keyes now.
Writers have been on strike over better compensation and protections against artificial intelligence for more than 100 days, bringing many productions to a screeching halt. Actors walked out last month for the first dual strike in decades, and Noah Weil on the picket lines in L.A. says,
I'm sort of conditioning myself against having too much hope, trying to make myself feel shorted for however long it's going to take. But I like the fact that they're talking.
Allison Keyes, CBS News.
And some of the lower-paid writers and actors are said to be in dire financial straits over the strikes. Okay, yeah, that poll question is about this task force that they're putting together in L.A. Have you seen the video, the latest mob that went into the Nordstrom there? We had it happen up here at Walnut Creek. But then there have been all kinds of retail crimes in all areas through the state. So what do you think about this idea, this multi-agency retail theft task force, the governor tripling the CHP resources? Do you think on Twitter our poll answers are, hopefully yes, that will help, or you're not optimistic about it, or you think no, you have to toughen the laws, not enough just to have a task force trying to crack down. Got to have tough legislation. So what do you think? Pound 250 on your smartphone, keyword open mic, and we'll get to that coming up. Right now, though, we do have more of your top national and global stories here on KFBK News Radio, not everywhere, on the iHeartRadio.
From ABC News, I'm Chuck Severson. Amid the deaths, 111, and destruction of property by the Maui wildfires, more stories of heroism during the danger. A mother and a daughter reunited today with the young man who stayed with them, protected them, after they climbed over a seawall to stay in the ocean, escaping the flames for over 8 hours.
We love you. You're part of our Ohana.
That man is Benny Reineke.
Your hair finally catches on fire, and you have to occasionally put water on yourself to not have the embers burn your skin. There's waves. We're in the ocean. The waves are knocking us over into the boulders and the rocks. We're trying to hold on, and some people are floating away. I'm having to go grab them and put it back where we were. It was just a true nightmare.
Search and rescue crews in Maui still have a big task ahead. Recent smash and grab flash mob robberies in Southern California now cause several law enforcement agencies to band together in a joint effort. LA Mayor Karen Bass.
Our number one job is to keep Angelenos safe and to feel safe. When incidents of brazen theft and robbery occur, it shatters that feeling of safety.
The U.S. and Pacific allies are concerned about this piece of real estate.
It is an island Vietnam, Taiwan, and China claim as their own in the South China Sea. Now China appears to be building a military airstrip there.
These kinds of activities undermine the peace and security of the region.
State Department spokesperson Vedant Patel.
Beijing has offered no coherent legal basis for its expansive maritime claims.
For now, the other nations are watching for China's next step. Andy Field, ABC News, Washington.
Citing errors by police, a Mississippi judge declared a mistrial today in the case of 2 white men accused of chasing and shooting at a black FedEx driver who was making a delivery. The chase and gunfire led to complaints on social media of racism in Brookhaven. Listening to ABC News.
Traffic and weather together right now. We start in the traffic center. Alden Jacob is in Pennsylvania.
And this report is sponsored by Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. Starting with westbound 50, your drive from Folsom to downtown is about 27 minutes. Also looking at West 80 from Roseville to the Split, 13 minutes to get through that stretch, and East 80 and 50 from Davis to downtown, still a heavy 37 minutes as you cross through the Yolo Causeway. Visit Mercedes-Benz of Stockton if you're thinking of a customized van for your family or business. Mercedes-Benz of Stockton has a large selection of Sprinter and Metris vans in stock and your local resource for van upgrades. Mercedes-Benz of Stockton just off I-5 at 8 Mile Road or mbofstockton.com. Traffic on the 10s every 10 minutes, mornings and afternoons from the KFBK Traffic Center. Alden Jacob, KFBK News Radio.
Thank you, and your KFBK forecast.
Heat advisory remains in effect through late this evening. Partly cloudy skies tonight. Will see a nighttime low of 62 to 66. Partly sunny tomorrow. Tomorrow's high 87 to 91. Sunny skies Saturday. Will reach a high Saturday of 96 to 100. I'm AccuWeather's Drew Shannon on KFBK, Sacramento's News Radio.
All righty, 103 in Carmichael, and Folsom has 104. So we're talking about this new multi-agency retail theft task force they're putting together in L.A. with the governor directing the CHP to triple its resources in Los Angeles to help. And Mayor Karen Bass says she thinks that it will make a difference.
This is not a task force just to sit around and discuss something. This is a task force to apprehend the suspects and to do anything and everything we can to prevent these crimes from taking place.
All right. Do you have high hopes for this task force? Maybe it will curb the crime in Los Angeles, or do you think, hey, you can keep cracking down, but if the laws aren't tough enough, what difference will it make? What do you think? Let's find out.
As far as this task force, it'll do some good for arresting them. The only problem is the DA down there in Gascon, well, then put them right back out. That's the way California works. We don't punish criminals.
Well, you know, what's interesting is that a lot of business owners have blamed the DA there, saying his policies have actually emboldened the criminals. So it'll be interesting to see what impact this has. But what do you think? Pound 250 on your smartphone, keyword open mic, more to come. Also, your top trending stories will go in depth with ABC's Alex Stone, the latest on the aftermath of those deadly wildfires on Maui. On KFBK News Radio, live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
You excited about going back to school?
School's back, you're back. Welcome back. We're here with traffic reports every 10 minutes, mornings and afternoons.